Night Dreams Scary Story Night on Friday nights. Call in at 9:30 p.m. Pacific at 1-253-203-6695.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, I don't know what the weather is like at your location, but up here in the compound, well, it's been raining off and on all day, which is certainly better than what's happening on the East Coast and the Carolinas. Oh, wow. I have a friend that lives up there in North Carolina, and I feel so bad for what's happening. I mean, a lot of homes are being destroyed, roofs been tore off, flooding, and all that stuff. So people say that earth changes is not going on. I disagree. I think earth changes are going on a lot faster than what we're being told. Well, tonight, our guest is Mike Orrell. He had an encounter back, I believe, in 1991 on going on a hike with a bunch of friends. They ran into, a lot of interesting things. Hey, Michael, are you there?
Hi, Gary. Thanks for inviting me to your show, pal.
Well, I'm glad to have you on.
It happened in 1990, by the way. It wasn't 1991.
I'm sorry.
And I was on a hike with two friends in East County of San Diego on a photographic expedition. And for you San Diegans listening, and we stopped by Dudley's Bakery in Santa Isabel, and right up the street was Inyaha Scenic Trail. And we took it to Scenic Spot 7, where we were looking at 18 miles of the San Diego River Valley. It was absolutely beautiful. And Gary, I took one photo right there because it was running late. And 2 weeks later, I got that film back, and I noticed that there was 10 dots in the distant background of that photograph. And that's where the story actually began. It's quite a story after that, actually. But you were talking about, first of all, this hurricane that's hitting North Carolina. I have some relatives that live in North and South Carolina, and I'm really concerned for them because this is supposed to be a big one. 500 miles wide, 150-mile-an-hour winds, and it has everything to do with Earth changes, with what's coming. But and I think that's affected, actually, by the upcoming shift of our Earth's magnetic poles, something I want to talk to you about later.
Well,
but,
a
this
lot of
UFO
people
photo is quite a story.
Yeah, a lot of people just deny the Earth shifting, the magnetic fields changing, all this stuff. I mean, the Earth is slightly at a tilt, and a lot of people just blow it off. And, and then we'll get into what happened with you, but a lot of people thought Al Gore was crazy. I mean, seriously. But it seems like everything he has been talking about back 10, 15 years ago is now starting to happen. And it's not happening slowly, it's happening fast.
Right. I mean, it's quite actually biblical, the apocalypse that's covering the earth with these fires and the deadly earthquakes in Japan. And I haven't forgot what happened in 2004. We lost 250,000 people. Now, I learned in metaphysics in the 70s, even Edgar Cayce said that the earth is going to shift in the blink of an eye, and it's going to be creating 500-mile-an-hour winds. So if you thought the hurricane winds about to hit Florida are bad, you can't imagine what's going to happen when the earth physically has a crustal displacement. Now, according to a book called The Earth Past and Present, volcanic core samples have proven that the Earth's magnetic poles have reversed 171 times with a aperiodic schedule of 420,000 years in one direction, and then it flips for 440,000 years in the other direction because magma aligns to magnetic north after it cools. Well, it's been 700,000 years since the last reversal, which has many people thinking that we are way overdue, like 230,000 years. And I suspect that aliens, Gary, had a lot to do with the postponement of the shift by building structures with magnetic bearings like the pyramids in Giza, which are aligned to magnetic north and happen to be situated around the exact belly of the world, which may have helped in 2012 avoid a shift there when the Mayan prophecy hit December 21st, 2012, and the precessional wobble of the Earth completed its 26,000-year cycle. Well, nothing happened, thankfully, and I think it has everything to do with aliens, buddy.
Well, it's a good possibility. I just feel that we're into something that's going to happen eventually. And that's where I'm concerned. Just like the government, all these underground bases or underground cities, I don't even think they were all built just in case of a war. I think they were built, well, maybe for changes too.
And, that's interesting because according to metaphysics, once again, and it's actually in the Bible, I think it's Revelations chapter 6, verses 12 through 14, that islands will disappear and every mountain moved from its place. So if you think you're going to move someplace that's going to be safe, you might find that your cave is underwater.
Yeah, it could be, yes.
I'm thinking that aliens who actually are benefactors and have helped to create this physical body so that our consciousness and soul can actually find a way back to God, which is, I believe, the Spirit created the flesh, and that's why the whole universe has been created. And if you were to look at every possible reason why aliens are helping mankind, according to metaphysics, it's because they are emissaries from God who seeded our planet and have been nurturing mankind since the beginning. That's part of ancient alien theory, and I happen to believe it, and that they are not going to let the majority of mankind suffer the same kind of death that has happened before, and we have seen it in baby mammoths who have been found with tropical food in their stomach, flash frozen in the Antarctic. And there's only one explanation for that. They were on the Earth when it flipped. So I think that they're trying to warn us, and the latest crop circles are doing exactly that. If anybody was paying attention, in 2002, there was a remarkable crop circle. It's known as the Winchester crop circle that had a alien face and a binary code that literally said this: beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises, much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. And it says, we oppose deception. Conduit clothing, bell sound. Now that conduit closing, that's pretty scary to me because this electromagnetic shift has everything to do with the fact that Mother Earth needs to reboot badly. And I think aliens are getting ready to do their little purification gig and have a rapture event. And that's partly, I think, why I've been allowed to see this UFO pattern, which I found in that UFO photograph. And so I'm trying to share it with your listeners right now on your radio show.
Well, when this happened in 1990, and you saw those, UFOs in your picture, I mean, when you first saw that, I mean, how long did it take before you comprehended that something was up?
Well, I had my own darkroom, and when I got the 4x6 prints, I immediately saw these objects, and I thought it was a negative glitch, which I didn't find in any other prints, and I thought they might have been birds, but as I looked at it, I noticed that the left three objects are in a perfect triangle formation. So I actually blew it up as far as I could, and then I took it over to a friend of mine who's a photographer, and he tried to tell me they were flying ducks. And I said, you know what, you're not an artist, but if you can tell me there's wings or ailerons on these 10 objects, show them to me. And he couldn't, and I said this: I'm going to go back to the same spot, and I'm going to shoot birds and planes in the same scenic spot, number 7, at the lookout spot, and I can compare them. And sure enough, that's what I did 2 weeks later. And I tell you, Gary, when I turned to leave, I saw, and you can see this on my website, a boulder that's shaped exactly like an alien's head. And this is 10 feet behind the spot.
I saw that.
I took what may have turned out to be the best evidence for extraterrestrials, And now this alien head boulder is famous in its own right and has been featured on Channel 8 and a couple newspapers. It's quite a story.
Wow. And how did you run across that big boulder?
Well, it's funny because I'm an artist. I got a degree in graphic design. And in 1985-ish, as I was getting ready to compose an art piece, I noticed that a photo I had taken of a local mountain called El Cajon Mountain contained an incredible, giant, mile-diameter man-ape face, and it was surrounded by a perfect circle. Now, I was aware of faces because in 1974, NASA revealed they found a face on Mars, and that sort of cued me up. But, as an artist, I know what faces look like. So sure enough, I teamed up with a guy who owned a T-shirt shop, and we were marketing the handsome logo I made of this, and that was in 85. So I've been on a lot of hikes, and I just happened to see rock face as well. That's what happened when I went back to Inyaha Memorial Trail, and I saw this alien face, which I believe is somehow connected to the fact that at the spot next to it, I took this photo of 10 UFOs. And I might add this, Gary. As we approach this park, there's a memorial marker dedicated to 11 firefighters who died fighting a fire at that very location one day before I was born. And my buddy pointed this out to me, and I thought it was sort of like an omen, because I do believe in reincarnation. And I thought, man, I could have been one of those firefighters. So I was sort of on alert. But none of us saw the UFOs, and I unfortunately only took one photo, but that photo was enough. Because one of the objects was actually on the west side of the valley, heading towards the formation of 9, that's on the east side of the valley, and a close-up of that object revealed a hidden pattern that I wound up finding in numerous other UFO photos, and then by chance, I found it in countless ancient artifacts. And that led to numerous front-page articles here in San Diego, and an award-winning CBS interview where they actually showed this now historic pattern that literally, I believe, has solved the UFO mystery. Of course, that's my opinion, but...
Well, a lot of people, will sit there. I actually had somebody on my show a couple of weeks ago denied that there's no such thing as UFOs. But, it's just too many things, like my Saturday host, Michael W. Hall. He's a lawyer here in Washington State, but he has a group called the UFO I-Team. And what they do is they go out, just like 2 weeks ago, they went to Mount St. Adams, and they got some really interesting footage of, UFOs. And, back around 2000 or so, I used to manage a chain of professional camera stores myself. I've been in photography, to probably about 15 years ago when I got out of it. But I've been in photography pretty much all my life. And, one day we got in some Russian or Czechoslovakian, I can't remember, infrared binoculars. And I decided to take a pair home. And, after I got done looking at whatever I could look at, I started looking at the sky. And all of a sudden, I started seeing, things zigzagging, coming to a stop, making a complete opposite direction turn, and go another direction at high speeds. And I'm going, wow. And one of our regular customers ran the observatory up here in Puyallup, Washington at the time. I told him about it, and I let him borrow a pair of infrared binoculars. Well, the next thing I know, that they all, members